What is up, Nickel City Con? How's it going today so far? How's the day going? Any good merch? Any good stories so far? Yeah, you're all here for someone else. Anyway, so my name is Josiah LeRoy. I represent the Geekiverse.com. We are pop culture media based right here in Western New York, Buffalo more specifically. You can check us out, booth 410. After the panel, we've got a lot of stuff going on. But the reason you're all here today, that's a great cosplay, by the way. Like, both of you. Oh my gosh, that's wonderful. Our next guest is the star of a long list of movies, Blades of Glory, The Benchwarmers, but most notably, you probably know him as Napoleon Dynamite. Everybody, this is Jon Heder. Hello.
Hi.
We're so far away.
You put the couches like this.
I can sit next.
You were the one who did the set decorating and everything.
I can sit next to you if you'd
You
like.
think you're doing a talk show. This guy has aspirations. More like an
So I just about a minute ago asked him, like, John,
do that.
John, how do I pronounce your last name? I was like, I've heard everything, and it's Heder. It is in fact Heder. That is confirmed. Spoilers there.
Confirmed right here from the source.
So just before I met you about an hour and a half ago, I want to say someone in front of you was talking about Solo, a Star Wars story.
They may have, yeah.
Did you see it?
I did see it.
What?
Well, I mean, I live in Hollywood. We have access to everything, you guys. No, I went to the premiere.
And?
Spoilers? Are you guys cool with spoilers? No. Because Han Solo dies, you guys. And then Chewbacca actually has a force and brings him back to life. And they never reveal that again because he used up the rest of his force. That's how the force works, right? He had like a little bit left, and he used the rest to save Han, bring him back to life. And the rest of the movies, Chewbacca doesn't have the force, and every time Luke brings it up, Han looks to Chewie, and Chewie's like, no. all right. Yeah. Anyways, just ruined all that. Oh, I enjoyed it, but I gotta give a Star Wars film a couple weeks for it to kind of like stew and ruminate, and then I'll make my final decision. But so far, it was fun.
That's pretty cool, though. And that's not at all how I anticipated that plot going.
Yeah.
So that is going to be a different kind of Star Wars movie. So, obviously, most noted for your role with Napoleon Dynamite, kind of skyrocketed to fame.
Thank you.
Great cosplay in the front row here, by the way.
Yeah. That's not cosplay. That's just,
That's every day.
That's real life. Did you get a perm? Sorry, a permanent. Yeah, looks great.
So with Napoleon Dynamite, can you go like 10 feet without someone mimicking a line to you?
No, I can't. Arm's reach is about as far as I know. I get asked that question a lot. Do I, have like walking the streets? And it's easy. I just don't walk anywhere. I make life easier for me, and I just don't go out, and I just stay holed up in my house. If I go to a crowded place, sure, I'll get people saying stuff, and a lot of times it's my voice that gives it away. I guess that's what they say, and I feel like there's a difference between this and like, idiot, So there should be there is. This is like a guy who has like emotions and feelings. It's normal, right? And then you have like just breathiness and yeah. So it's like you just don't even know what you're talking about. Like I don't know. I think there's a difference. I hear it, but apparently these people hear one thing. So my voice goes away. Yeah.
It's good though. What with creating that character, how much of that was like you? How much of it was direction? Did you just kind of take the ball and run with it?
Yes and no. Like Jared Hess, who directed the film. I mean, he created the character. I mean, it was his baby, but it was one of those things where he knew. Well, it's not that he knew. It's like when I read the script for the short film, because we did the short film first back in 2001. And so I read that, I was like, yeah, I mean, like, you didn't create this character exists. out there somewhere.
Oh,
And
totally.
you just like saw the same guy that I saw and then wrote it down. Like I knew exactly who he wanted, who he was looking for. But yeah, we ran with the ball because he's like, okay, we had the general idea, but like the idea for the perm came from his wife a little bit later. We did the moon boots a little bit later. We kind of went around to thrift stores picking out sweet dragon shirts and saying, yes, he would wear that. And so we kind of like formed it, but once we did the short, then it was like, he's done, he's ready to go. And by the time it was about a year later when we shot the film, Jared was like, all right, John, yeah, you know what you're doing. Just do that. I was like, sweet, let me go direct Pedro. He doesn't know what he's doing. So yeah, it was, and it was kind of like it was like putting on a costume. I mean, it literally is putting on a costume, but once, I'm in it, then it's easy, and it's great.
Did you get to keep those boots, by the way?
You say get to, I said had to. Nobody else would take them. Those things were like,
I guess that's a fair point.
those things were like filled with swamp juice. Like, it was so gross afterwards. They were falling apart. You want to display props like that with pride, but this thing is tucked away in a Costco bin somewhere. Yeah, they were gross.
Do you stay in touch with the cast?
As much as I am good at staying in contact with anybody, again, I try not to leave my hole. I do. I keep up with Pedro and all of them. Pedro, Tina, John Grice, who plays Rico, and Aaron Rule, who plays Kip. Yeah.
Did you have, it's probably hard to predict, but did you guys kind of know, like you were onto something with Napoleon Dynamite, that it was going to have that cultural impact?
We didn't know. No, we didn't think it was going to be this big. We honestly, we didn't allow our imaginations to run that big yet, because when we were making it, it was just an independent film.
Sure.
A small film that had no studio connection or any distribution. So we were like, well, we're making this movie, and it'll be shot and edited. And then when it's done, if we could just, hey, the least I'm asking is just burn it to a DVD so I can show it to my family and friends. We knew that there was a chance that would happen. And even after we got it into Sundance, the big independent film festival, we were like, okay, this is exciting, like truly exciting. I felt my life changed, but even then, I was like, okay, Fox Searchlight bought it. And Fox Searchlight is like the armpit of Fox proper. I say that it's like a bad thing. No, they're the smaller company of Fox, but even then we were like, okay, so it's gonna be in a couple art house cinema theaters, and some people, a few elite will see it, and then it'll be on its way and nobody will know. But it's great. I didn't know at all that kids would like it, or people. We thought it was gonna be like 20 years old to about 39 years old would be that window. But we have broken out. Yeah, so we never could have imagined.
I don't think anyone could have predicted it. Huge, obviously, 14 years later? Just about.
Give or take.
So,
Yeah.
But, geez. I was in high school when it came out. You couldn't go a few feet without someone quoting anything from the movie. So, huge. A really important question, I would say, that I want to know personally is who has better hair, Napoleon Dynamite or Jimmy McElroy?
Better hair? Well, Jimmy has he has perfect hair.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hard to beat.
Yeah, hard to beat. Napoleon is great, but it's nappy and it's kind of gross and it's filled with cobwebs, I think I washed my hair, I shampooed it twice during the making of the film because they were worried the perm was going to get ruined, and they also wanted to keep, artistic integrity and just make sure nothing changed and for the look, hey, John, just don't wash it. I don't think Napoleon would be washing it that often. I was like, easy, done. Ooh, spider, no problem. Ooh, spider nest, no problem. But Jimmy McElroy, man, they spent hours on that hair every morning, and it just looked immaculate, But the problem was, I had I don't know if they still do it, permanent extensions where they use this special, almost like a glue gun, and they glue these extensions in it with these little metal rods. It was crazy. It really hurt the first couple nights I had to sleep on my pillow. But then they were like in there, and outside of hair and makeup, when just at home, I looked ridiculous. And you could see these things. And then, when we're shooting, they make it look like just gorgeous and beautiful. And I was like, oh.
Very luscious.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was true or not. Obviously, was Ben Stiller originally supposed to be in it?
He was, yes.
Okay, I had heard that recently. And I've always loved this movie, but I can't imagine Will Ferrell not being in it.
Well, yeah, it was originally going to be just Ben and I, and Ben was going to play the role of Chas Michael. It was his production company. They bought the script. He was on board. He wanted to do it. When I first met with Ben, he was like, I want to sit down and talk with you. Let's do this movie. What do you think? I was like, it's kind of a no-brainer. Literally, there's no brains involved. It was great. And then, but I think I don't know exactly. I think it was either a scheduling thing or he got spooked by, ice skating, because I think he was a little worried about ice skating, just figuring out how to do that. But I think a big part was that he's very particular about his characters. And after kind of doing this read through, the script reading, he felt it was a little too similar to a character he had done, I think, in Dodgeball.
I can see that.
So, and it was just, I don't know exactly. So I was pretty bummed when he said, I'm going to still be producing and there on set every day working, but we'll find someone. I was pretty bummed. And then he said, Will Ferrell. I'm like, fine. We'll settle for Ferrell. And now it's like, I can't imagine anybody else.
What was that like? So you guys seem to have really good chemistry. You guys were hilarious together. What was it like working with him as an actor?
He was awesome. It was like a dream come true. It was kind of weird, like pinching myself. And like when we first met, it was at the ice rink to start the first day of our practice, and to like learn how to ice skate. And they jumped right into like trying to teach us like holding poses and stuff like that. And I was like, this isn't going to work, you guys. You have to make Will hold me. I can't hold him. But I remember like coming up to him and he was just like, you ready to do this? I could see and smell the fear. There were like, the nerves in his demeanor. And he was excited, but it was great. It was great for me because he wasn't like, he was so intimidating because he's this great actor, but he's very down to earth, very easy to get along with, but he was not on his 100% game because he's like had to deal with the ice. Sure. And he was always kind of like nervous on the ice. There was a lot of wire work with Will on the ice, and I was just like skating circles around him. I was like, come on, Will, let's go share the rainbow. And so it was great. So we always joked that he was, in the comedy, he was the show pony and I was the no wait, how does that work? No, yes, he was the show pony, I was the Clydesdale. He did all the really great comedy stuff, but I'd set him up with the jokes, did the work. On this ice, I was the show pony, he was the Clydesdale.
It was
he would literally lift me up and,
Yeah. Absolutely perfect match. So in just a few moments, we're gonna, if you wanna, there's a microphone right over there. If you guys have a question that you wanna ask John, we'd ask that you make your way over there just to line up right now, and then we'll get to those shortly. I was gonna ask you about ice skating, but you kind of answered that question. I didn't know how much you guys really got into it.
Well, we got into as much, when you're shooting a film and and there's skills involved, and this was like the first film I did where I had to be good at something. Whereas bench warmers, you don't have to practice or take any training because you're supposed to stink at it. It was like easy, great. Which actually was hard because I wasn't too bad. And so I hated every time I had to miss the ball. And I was just like, come on, just let me hit the ball. So actually for the premiere of the film, we actually did a game. They did this whole thing where we played a game against each other. I was finally, I was calling shots. And just,
got it out of your system.
Yeah, got it out of my system. But it was, but yeah, that ice skating, they were they want you to look natural, at least when you're getting on and off the ice and you're not total beginners. And we did, the fire and ice routine, a lot of that beginning was all us. Obviously all the fans if it looks impossible, then it was probably someone else doing it.
Sure.
With a major face replacement, or that rig where like I'm got my legs wrapped around him, and he's leaning back, and I'm like that. That was a rig. So that was us, but it was like on this crazy like green screen rig. It was weird. It was.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And we were just like, yeah. There was a lot of like the real life just holding each other and just like, oh.
It's
A
very
lot of that
natural.
was not acting. Yeah.
Speaking of that, you're a very good physical actor. Obviously, Napoleon Dynamite, a lot of dancing, of course.
Thank
The
you.
bike ramp thing is hilarious. It goes throughout the movie and even into Benchwarmers and Blades of Glory. Where do you get some of your comedic inspiration for that?
That's a good one. Comedic inspiration, like for physical comedy.
Yeah.
Just. I mean, I grew up loving. I was huge Jim Carrey fan. Obviously, he was a very very funny physical comedian. The way he could use his body and turn it into like rubber and glue, and just used every like ounce of his body. Like that was very inspirational to me. Like I loved being able to, trying to express that. Chris Farley I grew up on, and a lot of those like '90s comedians when I was younger, and I don't know. I think that's what it was. Just kind of learning to like just let go, and it just kind of came naturally. Especially when I did Napoleon, and it just the way he wrote the character, I just found it's like, yeah, that's who that kid is. It's just taking kind of cues from real people, or sometimes I'll like just be very observant and just notice how someone holds something, or how they move, or how they nod, and just kind of take that in and soak it up.
It's a good like awkward physical comedy, but it feels like your own brand almost. But it's part of the calling card. I feel like for you.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Good.
It's a very good thing. We'll get to first question.
Did the chickens really have large talons?
It's a legitimate question. No, they were weak. In terms of fowl, in terms of raptors, as we all know, are birds of prey. Chickens, they are not raptors, so they were pretty. I think Napoleon was excited to hear, and the guys are like, what? He's like,
Thanks.
Do you mind if you can do the dance from Napoleon Dynamite?
do I mind? I cannot do the dance from Napoleon Dynamite. I can dance, but I don't know the dance because I never memorized it. It was all freestyle, baby. Yeah, it was all freestyle. I remember I did, I was like, because Jared was like, hey, just do your thing, man. He knew I liked to dance, and so I was like, well, I don't know how to choreograph, but I did choreograph the very opening where he's just like, I was like, okay, I gotta have an opening that makes you just look stupid, but maybe it's like, what's going on here? And then he kind of and then that's it, right there. And then right after that, I was like, oh, I'll just dance, and hopefully win the hearts of a few viewers at least.
Phil from Chickamauga, big fan. What was it like to work with David Spade, Rob Schneider, and John Lovitz in the Benchwarmers?
It was great. You forgot Nick Swartzen,
Yeah.
one of my favorites.
Sun guy, yeah.
Who plays Howie, the guy who almost drinks. Oh no, he pees into bottles. No, that was one of the funnest movies I had made because it was a studio film. It wasn't like we had easy schedules. We had time. They had money. Craft services were incredible in that film. I think I gained like 10 pounds or 10 or 15 pounds on that film. They were like, continuity was off. They're like, why does he look fatter in that scene and thinner in that one? But those guys were really cool and laid back. And again, we didn't have to train. Like Blades of Glory, when we were off, I had to go back to the trailer, eat my freaking garbanzo bean meal. I mean, just something like I'd have to eat like super healthy, and then I'd have to go train some more. And then we had to go get massages. Boo. But yeah, that part was nice. But like it was a weird, like big studio comedies. But that one was very physical, and we were just training. But then bench warmers, we just sit around and like no joke, we play hacky sack.
Did you really throw the newspapers?
Throw the newspaper? Well, was it a special effect?
That was all CG.
Come on. Yes, I do my own stunts. And then when I have a stunt guy, he does his own stunts. So whenever you hear an actor say, I do my own stunts, so it was like, yeah, when you're doing the stunt, that's you. And then you have your stunt guy doing his own stunts for you.
What about Billy Bob Thornton in School of Scoundrels?
He was great. I mean, he was like a Southern gentleman type of guy. He'd come on set in a nice suit, and then he would tell the dirtiest stories.
Do you think they'll do a sequel to Napoleon Dynamite?
I don't know. I mean, we did the cartoon. If you guys haven't seen the cartoon, check it out. It's awesome. Thank you, yes. If you put those 6 episodes together, it's kind of like a sequel. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, Napoleon was great when he was a teenager and he was carefree and he had no responsibilities, but I feel like if we show him now as an adult,
What if he went to college?
What if he went to college? There could be an maybe. Although I don't think Napoleon, maybe a community college. Like we could do the comedy version of all those college movies, but it's like a really sad community college just right across the street from his house. He's like, okay, Grandma, see you. And then he goes home in between classes and takes naps.
My question was about the sequel too, but you got to it. But,
Well, he asked like 500 questions. I think he covered everything.
when Napoleon Dynamite came out, I was in college, and like you said, there was quotes all over the place. The Vote for Pedro T-shirt every day, you'd see it at school. I mean, it was huge. I really think there's thousands, millions of people waiting for that sequel to come out.
Well, jeez, just thousands? Thousands that aren't going to fill. That might fill a few theaters on the eastern seaboard, but you got to think bigger, man. Come on. Look, it would be great to do a sequel. It would be fun. It would have to come from Jared Hess, who wrote and directed it. I mean, he's the guy behind it. I don't think anybody would be involved if he wasn't. And if he had a vision for it, if he had a great idea, yeah, I'd be game. But, I'd have to then go back onto that garbanzo bean diet. I don't know about that. Do my